Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dawn Huffy. I'm the owner of Belle Coaching, and my life coaching certifications came through the Brave Thinking Institute. In the fall of 2020, I got an email into my inbox from Mary Morrissey. I had never heard from her before that I recall. And I opened the email, and this was the email that got me interested in this coach. She is such an amazing coach. She's been studying these principles of loving life and being the best person that you can be for over 50 years. Yeah, actually, I think she's been studying them for over 40 and been involved with them for over 50. So it was a great decision for me to buy her first program, and I just kept going, and I'll tell you more about that later. Now, you made the decision to join me in this masterclass, and it is my intention that you leave here today knowing 3 tools that will help you achieve your goals and dreams even faster than you ever imagined possible. I'd like you to have greater clarity on what those dreams are and to feel even more confident in the power that lives within you to achieve your goals and your dreams. Now, to do this, I'll share a story that will help us take the first step. And before that, I'm going to share my screen. Um, Hang on here. Something's not quite right. I'm looking for there it is. There's my PowerPoint right there. Wonderful. Okay. Now for the story. A mother mouse was leading her 3 children through a house when all of a sudden they came around the corner and saw a cat. The cat was about to attack, and the mother mouse said in a very loud voice, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," and the cat ran away. The mother mouse turned to her babies and said, "That is the power of learning more than one language." Why this story matters to you is because today we are going to be looking at the language of success. This is the language that will bring our dreams into reality. There is a pattern, a system, a way of doing things that creates the results that you want. And once you consciously understand what that language is, then you can apply it to any area of your life that you want to improve. That is what the DreamBuilder program is all about, learning a new language of success for life. This, we just got to catch up here. Here we go. Do you have a goal or a dream that you would like to achieve or some area of your life that you would like to improve? Have you ever achieved a goal in your life that when you first had that goal, you did not know how to achieve it? I think that we can say that this is true for all of us. And that proves the point. You are capable of far more than you know. And the Dream Builder program helps you to tap into all of that capability. Life is simply not done with you yet. My intentions for today are 3 things. First, to give you 3 tools to help you achieve your goals, to help you gain greater clarity on your goals and dreams, and to feel even more confident in your ability. Let's take a minute here and ask ourselves, what challenge is going on in my life right now? Is there some area of your life that is causing you pain? Perhaps it is your health, your job, your lack of free time, a relationship, or maybe it's your finances. We are going to move into how to overcome our challenges, how to go right through them. We're all going to have them, but with brave thinking and our brave thinking tools, we will move through them in a mature and grown up way. We live in a universe that speaks our dreams and goals to us through two signals. And the first signal is our longing. We start to feel a longing for something that we don't have. This is a signal to us that we want to grow. We want to become something more. The second signal is discontent. We actually don't like something that's going on in our life. That's the other signal. The feeling of longing for something we haven't yet created and the feeling of discontentment with current circumstances are the feelings that spark us to grow. Now, you can be pushed by pain and you can be pulled by a vision. These two energies, the pain of your problem and the desire for what you want, are essential for creating something different, for creating different results. I'm going to share my story with you about a time where pain caused me to make a change. As some of you might know, in the fall of 2020, I was feeling so frustrated and exasperated at all of the restrictions and the requirements at my job in the private school where I worked. I felt terrible about the things that they wanted me to comply with. I knew if I did comply that I would be very unhappy with myself. Going against my values never works out for me. It always ends up causing me pain, causing others pain. It just doesn't work out good. On our final day of in-service, when the new restrictions were delivered, I made a decision. I decided that my job was coming to an end that day. That decision was scary since I had no other job in mind at the time. It wasn't convenient and it certainly wasn't comfortable making that decision, but the alternative was not acceptable to me. I was pushed by the pain of my situation to make a change. Within a month of leaving that job, I discovered a life coach named Mary Morrissey, and that's when that email came into my inbox. I found that her programs were starting to change my life in ways that were very positive. When I was presented with Mary's life coaching program, I knew that I wanted to take that step. I have found when I teach principles, it is much easier for me to stay immersed in them and to implement them. So I enrolled and went through a rigorous training process to become certified as a DreamBuilder life coach. And I went on to do more training to become a life mastery consultant. I am so glad I did. I learned so much. I grew a lot, and I absolutely love being a life coach. Now, what's your next big dream? Imagine how you will feel when your dream becomes a reality. In the DreamBuilder program, there are 10 principles that will skyrocket your success when you apply them to your life. Today, you will learn 3 of these principles that you can apply right now to help you create a life you love. Here is my promise to you. I will give you my best in the time we have together. And at the end of this presentation, many of you will want to take this information further and integrate it into your life. And I have a special gift that I'm going to give you at the end of the presentation, and I think you'll really like it. We are constantly creating results, and we create them in 2 ways. The first way is by default. This means that we absolutely live our life through our patterns. And I'm going to talk quite a bit about patterns later, but this is when we wake up and we pretty much go through the same motions every day. We might have certain circumstances that come along that are so familiar. We've been in this situation before with different people, and here we are again, but we can't quite figure out why we keep repeating and repeating these same scenarios. The reason is because you're living your life through default. Now, as a brave thinker, we design our results. We take charge of our results. We create our results. I will definitely talk to you more about that as we go along. Now, let's learn to expand your awareness for success in the areas of life that matter to you. There are 4 major domains of life in which we experience our results. The first area is our health and well-being. The next area is our love and relationships. Our next area is our vocation. And the last area is our time and money freedom. Everybody has results in each of these areas of their life right now. The results that you are getting in your life in these areas are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. Let's expand your awareness together by studying the pattern that creates your results, or what I call the results formula. The formula looks like this. We first have thoughts in our mind. I remember years and years ago, I went to a training and we were taught to pay attention to the thoughts that we have in our mind. I never used to notice what I was thinking, but that was decades ago that I learned that we constantly have thoughts going on in our mind. Now, our thoughts cause us to have certain feelings, and our feelings propel us to take actions. And once we take actions, we get results. Now, I want to talk to you about another layer that is not on the screen. And this is the layer of our patterns. It is in our subconscious mind. I learned about this level when I did my training with the Compassion Key last year. This was one of the most phenomenal trainings that I have ever done. It gets at the wounds and dissolves those wounds that cause the patterns. And so this is actually a layer underneath our thoughts. It precedes our thoughts. The pattern will cause the thoughts to come into our mind. So just for example, I just want to give a short example here because I think it will help you to understand what is going on here. I saw a movie yesterday that spoke exactly to this. So a woman had been wounded by her husband. He left her. So she had this abandonment theme going on. She had this abandonment wound going on. Now she had a son that was 15 and she kept worrying about, oh, I only have 3 years left with him. And then he's going to be gone. She was feeling his abandonment 3 years early. And really it is an abandonment, but that's what she was seeing his leaving home as an abandonment, just like her husband had left her. So it was causing her thoughts to be skewed. She would think when he wanted to go and spend time with his friends, oh, he's abandoned me. Oh, he doesn't want to spend time with me. He doesn't really love me. These were the old wounds from her husband, and she was transferring them onto her son. It was the pattern of abandonment. So you could see how the abandonment pattern brings about the faulty thinking, the faulty thoughts. And then it causes her to feel so sad, so, so lost that he's leaving her again and she's all alone. Yes. So very, very important. I do offer compassion key packages, and it is one of the most profound ways of healing those old wounds. Now, let's go back to the results formula. Let's imagine the thought, I've lost my wallet. What happens when you think that thought? You probably feel panic, fear, all sorts of different stress things going through your body. Yes, these thoughts absolutely change our physiology. We might start to breathe really shallow. We might get sweaty palms. There's lots of things that happen when we think a thought. Now, what happens when you think this thought? Oh, that's right. I left my wallet in my coat pocket. How are you feeling now? I'm sure you're feeling relieved and more calm. Your body starts to calm itself down and come out of that fight mode, because you're going into where is it? Who took it? All that. So now you can relax out of all that and just rest in the feeling that, I'm so relieved that my wallet is in my coat pocket. Thoughts are in charge of our results. Results never lie. So if you want to know what you've been thinking, look at your results. Sometimes I'll have an experience going on and I'll think, okay, what's driving this? What pattern is driving this? What wound is driving this? What thoughts have I been thinking that's driving this? And what's my solution to all this? Do I go to compassion key? Do I do the emotion code? Do I just need to go cry and then think different thoughts? What do I need to do for myself to stop having these awful results? Yes, I'm a solution finder now. The true cause of all of our results is right in our own mind. Some people resist this concept. They don't like that their life is a result of their own thinking. I certainly didn't want to think that my thinking was causing me all of the pain and trauma that I was going through. But in order to stop all these results that we don't like, we really have to accept responsibility that we are creating the results. We can adopt new tools to get different results. In order to get something different, you must do something different. And now I want to give you brave thinking tool number 1. And this is to notice what you're noticing. Notice what you're thinking. Maybe you're looking at someone and you're thinking mean thoughts. Okay, notice that and stop yourself. Maybe you're noticing, okay, wait a second. I just had this experience with someone else yesterday, and here it is again today. What's going on here? Notice what you're noticing. This is brave thinking tool number 1. So we are going to create new results, and we're going to do that with this brave thinking tool. We're going to use that tool in our next exercise. This is called the life assessment, and you're going to notice your current results. You're going to want something to write with and some paper. You might be a person who doesn't know what your dream is. You just know there's something more. Maybe you have lots of dreams, but you don't know whether to choose one or create them all at once. Every one of us has a dream inside of us somewhere. We are going to go to the health and well-being area first. You might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health. Maybe you have relatively good health. You don't really have a lot of symptoms, but you know that there's more vibrancy and aliveness that you could feel. Next, I'm going to have you take 1 minute and write down one or two things that you're noticing about your health and well-being. So ready, write. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. Next, I invite you to give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 5. Where are you at in your health and well-being? 5 is that you feel fabulous, you're just feeling vibrant, and you just really love how your health is going right now. Now, 1 would be you are really, really struggling. So just rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. We are going to be moving on to the next area, and that area is our love and relationships. You may be a person who longs to have a beautiful, deep, fun, and passionate relationship with a loving and caring partner. Or maybe you just love to deepen, expand, and have more fun with the relationship that you are already in. Okay, let's take 1 minute and write down one or two things that you're noticing in the relationship area. And I encourage you to just choose one relationship. Maybe it's a relationship with your spouse. It could be a relationship with your mother or your father, or maybe it's a child or a sibling. Choose one relationship and write down one or two things you're noticing. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, great. Now, give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, where you feel you're at. Excellent. Now, on to vocation, or how we express ourselves in the world. You might be a person who feels stuck in a job you don't like. That was me. I didn't really like my job. I wasn't valued there. I wasn't appreciated. I was undermined a lot. And of course, I had the opportunity to quit and get out of there because of the situation getting worse. I was stuck in a job I did not like. Maybe you like your work, but you work too many hours and you want more freedom. So now just take 1 minute and write down one or two things you're noticing about your vocation. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. And now you can give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, where you feel you're at 5. You love what's going on. Things are really clicking. You're in your passion for what you're doing in the world. Okay. And we are going on to the final area, which is time and money freedom. You might be a person who feels out of balance, like you have more time than money or more money than time, and you'd love to feel more in harmony. Take 1 minute and write down 1 or 2 things that you're noticing. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. And finally, give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, where you feel you are at in this area. Very good. I want to commend you for going into these areas and looking at what maybe doesn't feel good, what doesn't look good. This is the way we discover what we're discontent with. This is the way we find what we long for. I commend you for doing that. A lot of times we just don't want to look at what's not going right. We just want to put it off to the side, and that does help us cope a little bit better, but it doesn't make any change. So thank you for being willing to do this exercise. This brings us to the first principle of dream building, and that is designing your dream. I want to share some quotes with you about vision. This is from the Dalai Lama. In order to carry a positive action, we develop here a positive vision. This quote is from the Bible, and it's from the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18. Where there is no vision, people perish. This is how important it is for us to have a vision or a dream. Without it, we dwindle away, we perish. People with goals succeed because they know where they are going. And this was by Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale was one of Bob Proctor's mentors. For those of you who know Bob Proctor. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream, by C.S. Lewis. Every great dream begins with a dreamer, by Harriet Tubman. And finally, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, by Eleanor Roosevelt. And the one word I want to point out here is believe. We really must believe in our dreams. We can't just dream it and then go off doubting it. No, we really need to stay in believing that that dream is ours. And I'll teach you how to do that in the Dream Builder program. Clarity is power. Without a clearly defined blueprint, you cannot build your dream. Just like you must have a clear blueprint if you want to build a house, the same is true for your dream. When you become clear on what it is you really want in life, you begin to see opportunities, circumstances, and resources that you would have otherwise missed. So let's design the blueprint for your dream and let's make it crystal clear. Consider the 4 domains of your life: your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation, and your time and money freedom. For our purposes today, choose one area of your life that you would love to improve the most. Okay, do you have it in your mind? We're once again going to need something to write with and some paper. The quality of our life is determined by the questions that we ask. And brave thinking tool number 2 is a question. And we're going to ask this question: what would I love? This is a very simple tool, but it's so powerful. You may think, oh, Dawn, it's just a silly question. It's absolutely power-packed to ask this question of yourself. What would I love? You can ask this multiple times a day. Like this morning when I was getting ready to do this video, I thought, oh, what necklace would I love to wear? And I just go to my necklace tree and I look at them and I think, oh, this one is beautiful. I love this necklace. I got it from my friend Bonnie. There are things about it that I love, of course, and I chose the one that I would love to wear. This is where I practice this tool. I practice it so I get really good at choosing things that I love. Now, this question is very different compared to the question, what do I think I can do? That's very limiting. What do I think? Well, I failed at that last time, so I don't think I can do that. I don't think I'm going to try that again. That's very limiting. There's another limiting question. What does my current situation say that I can do? We don't go to our situation and ask our situation, what will you allow me to do? No, we're asking, what would I love? It has nothing to do with our situation. We're just wanting to know from our heart, what would I love? Now, this last question is really debilitating. And here it is. What do other people think I should do? We are not asking this question as brave thinkers. We are not handing the power of what we would love over to someone else. How do they know what we would love? They don't. We are the only ones who can answer this question for ourselves. I also want to caution you about asking questions that start with why and when. And why am I cautioning you about this? It's because why questions have a tendency to pull us into victimhood. Why did that have to happen to me? I don't know why this always keeps happening to me. We just get into all of this complaining. No, we do not want to do that. It brings us into victimhood when we start asking why questions. Now, when questions drag us into whining, what does that sound like? When is my dream ever going to show up? When is my husband ever going to show up? I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I don't even know when he's going to show up. Remember when we were little and we were going somewhere with our parents? When are we ever going to get there? That's whining. Whining and complaining are the language of the devil. We need to eliminate this out of the words that we say and out of the thoughts that we think. We need to stop whining and complaining and come back to empowering questions like this one. Brave thinking tool number 2. What would I love? Next, I am going to take you into a process called the time machine. Imagine you are getting into a time machine and traveling 3 years into the future. And 3 years from now, everything you want completely worked out just the way you wanted it. So, in this exercise, I would like you to take your pencil and write across the top of your page, I am so happy and grateful now that, and we're going to finish this in a minute. But for now, just go ahead and write this out. Okay, wonderful. This is the beginning of writing out your dream. In a moment, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down what you would love in this area of your life that you chose just a few minutes ago. Suspend any urge to figure out how this result is going to happen right now. This is simply what you would love, as if someone gave you the power to create exactly what you wanted. Now, I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. Again, breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. And you might feel yourself calming down. This type of breathing calms your nervous system down, and that allows you to go into the creative side of your brain, because that's where we want to be. We are creating your dream life in this area of your life. Now, imagine that it is 3 years from now. It is 2026 and all challenges are solved. Consider what you would love for your life. What great things are occurring for you? If you could not fail, what experiences are you having? Who are you with? See all of those people. See where you are. And how does it feel? Now, open your eyes and take 2 minutes and write as much as you can, painting a beautiful picture of the life that you are imagining. Ready, go. There are 15 seconds left. Okay, good job. You can always come back to this and write more. You can come back to this and change it. This is what we call a living document. It's changeable. It's not written in stone. For me, I wrote out my first vision, and about a month into it, I think it was, I thought, you know what? I don't really want this anymore. And so I switched. And we just want to give ourselves permission that we can change our dream if we want to. Now, at the bottom of this vision, I invite you to write this or something even better still. So go ahead. I do want to explain why we add this at the end of our vision. We add this because from where we are right now, we can't see all of our options. But once we start taking steps, we're in a different place and we see different opportunities, we see different options. And so we want to add this short statement to keep our dream open to something even better still. This dream or something even better still. That's what I did. I put this at the end of my dream. And when it came time where I didn't feel like that dream fit anymore, when I left the school, I thought I'm going to have my own school. I'm a really good teacher. I'll have my own school. And as I went through the process of finding a space and looking for materials, I recognized, you know what? I don't really want a school. I was going through a grieving process, and this was helping me to get through the process just by imagining that I could have my own school. And when I recognized that, I thought, you know what? I really don't want my own school. And I pivoted. I went to something different. And it opened up the avenue for me to enroll in Mary's coaching program. If I was over here teaching, I wouldn't have been thinking about coaching at all. We are on our way. This is the beginning of designing a life that you absolutely love. I know you might not know how this dream is going to happen, and that's okay for now. Great dream builders are willing to suspend the need to know the how at the beginning of this process. So we'll check that one off and go on to key number 2. And this is deciding for your dream. Best-selling author and life coach Bob Proctor said this: there is a simple mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this mental activity, and it is called decision. Thank you, Bob. Bob was such an amazing coach. I actually got to be coached by him several times because Mary and Bob were very, very close friends. And when Mary would take a vacation or need someone to fill in for her, she would call Bob Proctor in sometimes to do her weekly coach training with us. That was super fun. It was just a thrill to be coached by him. Now, coming back to this idea of deciding for your dream, you must first make a firm decision for what it is you want before you will bring your dream into reality. Deciding for new results is an action step we can take to get us out of our old results. Next, I have a story for you about Judy. Judy enrolled in the DreamBuilder program, and it changed her life forever for the good. Judy did not have much education. She worked in a fast food restaurant during the day, and she did alterations as a seamstress at night. She lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment with her 2 children. Her dream was to have a home for her family. Judy came across this program that I am talking about today, and she decided that if she was ever going to change her life, that she needed support. So she took a huge leap and made a decision for her dream, and she enrolled in the DreamBuilder program. This was a very tough thing for Judy to do, but she got up her courage and she made the decision to change her life. She told her coach that her dream was to own her own home, but that she only had $500 a month for rent. She believed that there was no way she could ever buy or even rent a house for $500 a month. Her coach asked her to describe the house she dreamed of, but Judy had great difficulty doing that. It was a big struggle for her, but eventually Judy did come up with a description of her dream house. Now, knowing how dreams can come true, Judy's coach said to Judy, now that you have a mental picture of the house that you want, go out and look for it. Judy thought this was crazy. How am I ever going to go out and why should I ever go out and look for it? Because she had this limitation on her of this $500. But she did get herself out there and she did look for a house. And after 2 weeks, she called her coach and said, I found my dream home. But she added, it is $900 a month rent. And there's no way I can afford that. Now, had Judy been on her own, that would have been the end of it. And to this day, she might still be living in that tiny 1-bedroom apartment. Her coach, on the other hand, knew the language. Remember the language of success? She knew the mindset. She knew that the thoughts that you think are so important. And she knew the questions to ask, not the victim-y questions, not the whiny, complaining questions. No, the empowering questions to ask. So the coach asked Judy, Judy, if you did not know it was impossible, and you really thought there was a chance that you could live in that house, what would you do? She's propelling her into thinking about an action step. What would you do, Judy? At first, Judy just could not even consider this question. But after a week or so, she thought, okay, what would I do if I thought it was possible to live in that house? And she got the answer. She would write a letter to the owner and explain her situation. In her letter, Judy described 40 things she personally would do to improve the home if the owner would provide the materials and if she could rent for $500 a month. 3 weeks later, Judy got a call from the homeowner. He said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but something in your letter just won't leave me alone. So he is being pulled into Judy's dream. This is the power of dream building. This homeowner had several offers of $900 a month, but he didn't take them. Why didn't he take them? Because he said something in her letter just wouldn't leave him alone. Now, he goes on further to say, here's the deal. You sign a contract outlining what you will do every quarter, and I'll let you live in the house for 1 year for $500 a month. Judy immediately called her coach and told her with a giant smile on her face, we're moving in 30 days. I will have my dream home. Isn't that a wonderful story? I love this story. Actually, the story does not end there. Over the course of the year, Judy did everything she promised the owner she would do, and she was able to continue to rent that house. And within 3 years, Judy owned that very house. Her dream had come true. And along the way, she learned a new way of thinking thanks to her coach. That new way of brave thinking also got her a new career with better income. Judy started her own home-based business, and she got to spend more time with her children while her income soared. Her life had a whole new meaning. What about you and your dreams? It all starts with making a decision. It starts by saying to yourself, today I'm going after my dream. I'm doing this thing. I say this a lot to myself when I start to slump down and when I'm not meeting my goals. I'll just switch it and say, you know what? I'm doing this thing. I'm going after this thing. And I have a team now in a new business that I have helping people with their health. And I'll say, we're doing this thing. And it really ignites them. And they'll come back with, yes, we are doing this. We are doing this thing. Very, very powerful. We are deciding for new results. I'm going to ask you to read this screen. There is a reason for reading this. Okay, so according to research, if we know the first letter and the last letter, we can figure out the word, even though it's all mixed up, all jumbled up. And how can we relate this to our dream? Well, we know where we are at the beginning of the dream, and that's where we are right now. And we know the end of the dream is in that one area because we just did a vision. And in the middle, things are kind of unknown. They're maybe jumbled up to us. We can't decipher it. It doesn't matter. We know where we're going. And so the how in the middle doesn't really need to trip us up. We just know that we are getting to our dream. We know where we are now. We know what we would love. And in the middle is the how. And we are just going to put a strike through the how. As we take steps, remember before I talked about you're in a different place now. You see different things. You may meet different people that have opportunities for you. You may notice something that you've never noticed before that was always there. Your opportunities will unfold as you take your steps. So we're not going to focus on, oh, how's this going to work out? No, we're not doing that. We're having faith and belief. Remember, Eleanor Roosevelt said, we need to believe in our dream. This brings us to principle number 3, and that is befriending your fear. Most of us know when we do something new, fear rises up. It's just the way we operate. It's just what happens to us as humans. It's new territory, and we get a little apprehensive. Maybe we get a lot apprehensive. What I mean by befriending our fear is doing the thing you really want to do, taking that action step, even when your fear comes up. We're going to tap into our courage. We're not going to let the fear stop us. We're going to go through it because it gets us to where we want to be. Instead, we're going to make fear our friend. When we decide for a dream, there is a part of us that says, yes, we are going for it. We're doing this thing. And then there are other parts of us that start saying things. And these thoughts, remember, we talked about these thoughts. They come up. They're coming from our wounding. They're coming from our doubts. The first thought might be, yeah, that isn't going to happen. Or how are you ever going to do that? Where will you find the time? You're so busy right now. Where are you ever going to find the time? How are you going to find the money? And these thoughts are coming from your paradigms, or we could call them our patterns. Paradigms are just a set of beliefs. They're thoughts that come automatically up when we start to make a change, when we start to make a move towards something new, something different. There is one other pattern I want to talk about. And this is what it might sound like. Who do you think you are? You don't have what it takes. This is so detrimental. This is really shaming yourself. You don't have what it takes. You're not capable of that. Oh my. Start to recognize these thoughts when they come up and stop them, because they will stop your dream if you stay stuck in these thoughts. A lot of these thoughts that come up are coming from these patterns, and these patterns are harmful and they are just not beneficial to us. They drag us back into the same old, and we don't want to do that. There are other patterns I want to talk about. I really now understand to a much deeper and broader level about patterns and paradigms after doing my compassion key training. If you feel triggered and wounded as you move forward, or even as you're living your life, I really encourage you to get in touch with me so we can do some compassion key sessions. These sessions are so phenomenally beneficial. You might think, oh my goodness, it's going to be so hard to do those. No, it's not. You can get through so many of the wounds and give yourself compassion for them, dissolve the patterns in an hour or two. And so, not that, that will fix every pattern, but it'll fix the pattern that rose up and got your attention first. We can catapult the healing. Some people are in counseling for decades and cannot get at what we can get at with the compassion key in one session. Now, I want to talk about some very common patterns, and I see this first pattern over and over and over again. It is the pattern of delay. People will say to me, now's just not a good time. Just wait. I'm just going to wait until later. They're constantly delaying doing something different. Oh, things will look better in 6 months. Maybe next year, maybe in the fall, maybe after Christmas. Whatever excuse, the excuses are coming from the pattern of delay. And underneath the pattern is a wounding. Probably, they failed at one time when they were little. Usually a lot of these wounds are back when we were little. And so they're not going to venture out, and instead they delay. They grab onto the pattern of delay so they don't have to venture out and risk failing again. Another pattern is the pattern of shame. We talked about that a little bit earlier. This could come up when you tap into this, you don't have the money for that. That's so irresponsible. If you're coming in with more shaming statements like, that's so irresponsible. How could you ever be so, you could really get mean here. Recognize those nasty voices and stop them. Now, the last pattern I want to talk about is so common, and this is the I'm not good enough pattern. See this over and over again? I had it. Oh my. It might sound like this. You don't have the experience or the credentials to do that. Who are you to have that dream? You're just telling yourself you're not good enough to have that dream. No, don't do that to yourself. Don't shut your dream down with those kind of thoughts. There is a determined part of you. At the same time, that discouraging voice that's coming from only a part of you, not all of you, that part that's scared might be asking, what if I fail? Okay, so what if you do fail? How many of us have had a failure in our life? I would venture to say that most all of us, if not all of us, have failed. Yes, we have. When we were babies, we started out as non-walkers. As a non-walker, you rose up and then you most likely fell down. But what did you do next? You rose up. Might have fallen down again. When you were learning to walk, never once did you think to yourself, well, that's it. I guess I'm just not meant to be a walker. No, you wanted to get up on your feet and walk around like all the other big people in your family. You learned to walk. by falling down. Now, before we get to the screen, I want to talk to you about something that happens to us as we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. We stop giving ourselves permission to make a mistake. When we venture out into something new, we do make mistakes. How can we expect ourselves to do things perfectly if we've never done them before? We need to grant ourselves the grace to make mistakes and just say, oh, that's okay. I'm just learning. Learn how to talk to yourself kindly to get yourself to the point where you become more experienced at what you're doing. Oprah had a failure. She was fired by TV executives because they said she wasn't fit for TV. Well, that didn't hold true. And so Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times. And this loan application for this coffee shop was rejected 242 times. Can you imagine the amount of rejection and persevering through all of that? Fear and failure can be prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So notice when the voice of doubt questions you and asks, what if I fail? Let your response be, I might fail, but if I do, I will rise up and keep going. I will succeed. Befriend your fear. You can do it. Parts of you want to go forward and parts of you want to stay where you are. And in the middle, what do we have? We have fear. Yes, we are going to treat fear just like we did the how. We are going to put a strike through it. Now, we don't want to deny that we're having a fear. We just want to not pay so much attention to it. We can actually make an appointment with our fear, say 3 days down the road. This is Mary Morrissey's suggestion, and absolutely love it. So as you're going through something and the fear is bubbling up, you say, okay, fear, I see you. I know you're there. I'm going to put you off to the side. I'll check in with you in 3 days. In 3 days, you might just completely forget that you ever had fear because you've dissipated it through your action. You've dissipated it through moving forward. If it's still there, okay, then have a conversation with it. Now, fear has 2 companions that I want to alert you about, and they are doubt and worry. We do not want to go into either one of them. And when you notice that you are, I want you to focus on your dream. Take your attention off your fear, doubt, or your worry and put it back on your dream. What is one thing that you can do today that will move you in the direction of your dream? Yes, you're going to hear voices, but I take my clients through a whole process in the DreamBuilder program that catapults them forward toward their dream and living their dream. I'm going to have you do one more question for yourself. Ask this question: what is one action step that I can take that would move me in the direction of my dream? Okay, so ask the question, what's one action step I could take? So take a few seconds and write down an action step for yourself. Now, I want you to pick a date and a time for your action step and put it in your calendar. This is a promise to yourself that I am taking that step. It's on my calendar, and I'll know that that's the day and the time to do this step. Progress is so much more important than perfection. We're never going to get it perfect. So just know that progress takes you to a new place. So taking even the smallest step towards your dream is going to make a huge difference. The key is to do what you can with what you have from where you are. And this is brave thinking tool number 3. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. I'm going to say it one more time because I really want you to jot this down in your notes and come back to it when you feel stumped by, I don't know what to do. What am I going to, I don't know which direction to turn. Well, take a breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth and ask yourself, what can I do with what I have from where I am? Mhm. We went through 3 keys to mastering your results: designing your dream, deciding for your dream, and befriending your fear. In the Dream Builder program, we go into these in much more detail. But you have a really good sense, I think, right now of where we head in this program. You are worthy of your dream and a life that you love. You are. Yes, you are. And now, as we come to a close, here is the gift I promised you. It's a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action on your dream. I schedule time each week for visioning sessions. These are 45 to 60-minute phone conversations where we get clear on exactly where you are, what you would love to create, and the next most important step you can take that will move you in the direction of your dream. And actually, recently, I've been doing these over Zoom. So we could do a Zoom call or a phone call. This one-to-one session is valued at $250. If you are ready to invest in achieving your dream, your next step is to have a visioning session with me at no charge. I have several sessions available, and you can simply email me, or you can find me on Facebook. My name is right there on the screen, Dawn Huffy. You can send me a message through Facebook. Great. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Remember, as you walk back into your life, know that what is inside of you is far greater than any challenge you are facing. Mary has a phrase that she says, and it is, I am more powerful than in any circumstance, situation, or condition. There is a power inside of us that is more powerful than all of the circumstances around us. You have that incredible power within you. This is your moment. Today is your day to take bold action and know that I believe you can. I didn't come this far to only come this far, did you? If life is still breathing you, life is not done with you yet because something magnificent is happening with you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.